All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. So, just a little info. Retroid Pocket Classic should be on its way to my front door right now. So finally, we will have that one. More than likely tomorrow, as long as things go the way they should. So for today, I just kind of wanted to go over Game Boy stuff. Okay? Now, by that, I mean, if you're a Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance fan, what's a good option for you in the handheld space? Okay? And I'm going to go over each one of these really quickly. This ain't going to be too long of a video, but you know how that goes with me. I'll say that, and then we'll be here for 2 hours. So I'm going to run through them and kind of gloss over what I like about each one and where I kind of rank it if you're a Game Boy fan. And that covers all of them. Like I said, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. We'll focus mainly on the gameplay of Game Boy Advance with all these, since that's what these are over here. So that's what we're going to go with. So let's start. I mean, hell, we got 3 clamshells here, 1 vertical, 1 horizontal. Let's start. Where's the cheapest? Let's say these two. Okay. Let's start with the clamshell. So you already know what this one is. This is your Anbernic 35XX SP. And I am kind of interested to see the 34XX SP when they take this and slam it onto here like this. And this is what we'll get. Not quite, but I'll be interested in seeing the comparison between those. So I might go for that. I don't know. So anyway, with the 35XX SP, I have played quite a fair amount of Game Boy Advanced on here. For some reason, it doesn't draw me to Game Boy or Game Boy Color games at all. I've almost not played a single Game Boy or Game Boy Color game on here. But being it looks like an SP, I guess, it just draws me to Game Boy Advance. Like, that's all I want to play on it. And that's hell for most of these, I guess. But like I said, that's what we're going to cover anyway is Game Boy Advance games. And we'll do speakers. So 35XXSP, the speakers right there, facing right at you, shooting right at you. It sounds good. And I find this handheld to be comfortable for 1.5 to 2 hours. That's about where my comfort ends here. At about the 2 hour range, I do start to feel a little fatigue in the hands. And it's mainly just my hand positioning that does it. So, lifting it up, right there. These 2 fingers start to feel the weight. And that's just how I hold it right there. And these like support the back. And then, of course, just that across. Now, sometimes I might change it up. And then these 2 will be pinned at the bottom. And that's where I'll get, about an hour like that. About an hour like that. And then I'm done. So, but yeah, it's big. I mean, it's larger than the Miu Flip. It's more reliable than the Miu Flip. Because of the size, it's a little more comfortable than the Miu Flip. So now, I haven't had too many long gameplay sessions on the Miu Flip. You do get sticks. You guys know my take on these. They're not the greatest. They're actually bottom of the barrel. These are the last sticks I would want in anything. Honestly, out of every handheld I use, I gotta say these are the worst. These are bottom of the barrel, worst sticks I've ever used. And of course, there's people out there that like it. When I say things like that, this is my take on it, my review, my outlook, how I feel. I'm not telling you how to feel. If you like the sticks and it works for you, that's awesome. Okay? You don't gotta be like, well, I think the sticks are fine. And that's cool. I mean, if you do, that's cool. You should understand in this channel, though, I've said multiple times, nobody has the right to tell you what to like. Nobody has the right to tell you how to game or what you should be doing. What you like is what you like. This is just how I feel about it. So, not a fan of the sticks. I like the Anbernic plastic better. And I'm not going to sit here and do just a straight comparison, but on this one, I've played a little GBA on it. I do like the simplicity of like the Miu menu. You just hit that, boom, you get the little Miu menu. Now, this is running Mu OS, so that's my own doing. So naturally, anything with that is my fault. Any button combination or setup. God, I'm still. This is still 0 brightness, guys. I mean, still 0. I mean, the rest of these are just down a little, and this is 0 for the Miu. But with the Miu Flip, because of the sticks, I feel a little more prone to something like PlayStation. Yeah, I normally gravitate towards PlayStation on this, and it's not even a comfortable one for PlayStation. I'd rather go back to like my Cube or my DMG. You know, the sticks. I don't know. I really don't think this is the way to go for any of it. For Game Boy, for Game Boy Color, for not any of it. I don't think this is a device anybody should be picking up. I mean, I know everybody was excited about it. I was one that was excited about it. When I seen the first renders and I seen a black and green one, I was like, fuck yeah. I believe I even told the sponsor of my channel, I don't care if it's a complete piece of shit. I like that black and green. I'll deal with it. And I probably would have. But you still get that nice satisfying clack when you close it. But it's also scary as shit to open and close this, because you know their history. You know it feels like it's gonna snap. And I can't help it. When it's closed, I don't mind simple designs, everybody. Like just nothing on the outside is perfectly fine. This can be simple. But it really, really looks like a Powkiddy, what was that, V90? When I look at it, it looks like that cheap-ass Powkiddy V90. It looks like that $30, $40 thing. And it kind of feels that level. You know, I mean, maybe not in the back. The back feels a little bit better. And the weight's not balanced. So do I think this is your choice for Game Boy? No. And we're just going to set that off to the side. Now, let's talk about one of the more expensive options. This is your GBA Boxy Pixel hinged. Let me adjust this a little. Now this uses actual, God, come on, brightness. This uses actual GBA parts, so you're going to need an SP as a donor. You're going to need to buy the shell, the buttons, all that, and you're going to slap this together. And of course I have a metal game in it, which I don't recommend doing, but I've been messing with Breath of Fire 2 on here. So, and I put it in very carefully to not scratch it, because this is aluminum on aluminum. But I don't think there's a better SP out there than this one. This hands down just beats all of them. I'm gonna turn it off to save the battery. But it you get the feel of the regular SP. It's weighted right. You know, depending on the game I have in here, like this metal one, it's a little heavier, a little rougher on where my hands sit. So, I still get about 2 hours of gameplay before I'm like, oh, okay, need to give my hands a rest. If I have a regular plastic cart in there, I could probably get maybe 20, 30 more minutes out of it, because it's just softer on the hands. But I mean, I love this thing. It feels solid. It feels like if you needed to, you can close it and just knock someone in the head with it and it'd be all right. The problem with these is after you get the donor, handheld, and everything else, you're in it for a few hundred. So you have to be a fan of original hardware and really want to go this route. This isn't for everybody. But this is one of those things that you're going to pick your shell, your button color, metal, plastic, whatever you want to do. You're going to decide all this. Whether you want it engraved or not. These aren't stickers. This is laser etched on there. I mean, these are amazing. And they cost. And you got to build them yourself. I mean, you can find them probably on places like Etsy or, you know, that would do like a custom order. You pick everything, they'll get the donor console or the donor handheld, get the parts, build it for you, ship it to you. But you're going to pay way more than you would if you just bought all the stuff yourself and did it yourself. Not that these are like the easiest things to build. There's some soldering required in most of these, but they're worth it. I wouldn't pay somebody to build it for me. That's you're getting into, like, I think they priced me like $500, that type of shit. I mean, if you're really curious about it, one of the Game Boy Color type things I really want, okay, is that Froggo Game Boy Color, you know what I'm saying, the Froggo Pocket or whatever, that little tiny Game Boy Color. You'll have to look this thing up, but it's a little tiny aluminum shell. It's from Froggo Customs, and it's about the size of a Game Boy cart, you know, width-wise, and it's probably lengthwise the size of one whole cart plus a half, so 1.5 cart. I mean, it is tiny, but it is cool as shit looking. You got to go get a custom screen for it. They are so fucking expensive, and you can't get the parts from Froggo Customs anymore. He never has stock on it. You can go to PCBWay and try and get some shit built, but then again, I don't know everything I need to the exact specs. And then if you do find one that's already custom built, it's $500 to $700 for one, and that's just ridiculous for what's essentially original hardware Game Boy Color. But anyway, as for back to Game Boy Advance and all that, this is absolutely one of my favorites, being original hardware. It has just the amount of buttons needed for Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance games. You have all your original hardware with the little upgrades like USB-C, link cable, still perfectly functional. I absolutely love this. So, and this is one of those things when I think about it, if I really wanted to, I could go get a couple extra batteries for this, charge, you know, put it in, charge it up, pull one out, put next one in, charge it up. And then if I went somewhere, just carry one of those small little tri-wing screwdrivers with me, play, okay, save the game, battery's dying, open it up, pop the battery out, new battery in, close it up, there we go. Which would beat the hell out of your emulator options, because I could actually swap the battery on this. So, worth it to me? Yes. To everybody else? No. You better be a serious fan of Game Boy and want really cool shit like this. Now let's put it this way, people. Cool shit costs money. Okay? You got that? Cool shit ain't cheap, and cheap shit ain't cool. So, that's it. Now, before this, there was the Boxy Pixel unhinged. Let me get this. Okay. And that's what this is. This is your Boxy Pixel unhinged. This was the first one I fell in love with. Okay. I always wanted one of these. Not in this color, you know, combo here of silver and black with the white screen. It's not bad. It's a little plain for me. You know what I'm saying? I like them a little flashy and glistening and dipped in butter and looking clean. But this ain't bad. I mean, that's max volume, because this is actual GBA hardware or GBA SP hardware. So you can always get a switch speaker in there, I believe, with these. But you're using original hardware. So this has your GBA SP housed in it, takes actual games. So that's with these two, you're not going to get that emulation experience. You got to go get your games or get a flash card. So you get a flash card, you're fine. You're at that gray area between original hardware and emulation. So now when it comes to GBA, I've always loved these. They feel solid in the hand. You get the Boxy Pixel unhinged kit for your SP. You got a nice vertical. The back, this acts as a pretty decent grip. This whole housing, your hand rests pretty decently on it. You can feel some of the edges, like right in here, but they're not that bothersome. And the way it's weighted with almost everything just right here in this chunk and no weight up here where the screen's at, it balances right in your hand. I could play on this for maybe 2 to 4 hours comfortably, because something about this one, I could just pinch it right here between the hands and have no problems playing on it for hours. Now, once again, you have to Get the donor SP, buy all the parts, pick your colors, get your screens. You'll be in a couple hundred again. And this is like this one. You can get it, custom built for you for another 100 or so on top of it. It's better just to do it yourself once again. Is it worth it? Once again, for the diehard people that love this stuff, that love collecting this stuff, that want to have these on a shelf, and just because you love them that much and you're a huge fan of the Game Boy Advance library, fuck yeah, these are worth it. Okay? These are fucking awesome. They're great. They're a pain in the ass to put together, but once you got that color combo you want, I mean, if you pick like emerald green and like brass buttons, or that matte black with the brass buttons, so you get a little bit of that tannish gold in there. Oh, that's nice, right? So to have your own custom GBA, why the hell not, But if you're not going to go that route, that leads us to the last one I have in my lineup for now, the 34XX. I was very unsure about this when it came out, okay? Because I've had an original GBA. I've had the updated GBA with the IPS panel and all that, and mine was white and had the gray buttons, and first time I used that, I couldn't believe how much I liked it. When I was a kid, I didn't get up to this level. All I got was a Game Boy Pocket, never went higher than that. So when I got myself a few years back a very nice custom GBA, I played the hell out of it. I mean, I sat there, I think I had Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced. I went and picked up that GBA, stopped, overpaid for Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced, put it in there, and for the next 2 weeks or however many hundreds of hours I sank into that. I'd have to pull out the actual GBA cart I have at home and check my save file, but it's a lot of hours. And I held that in my hands. I had no problems playing on it. Now, when Anbernic came up with this, I get it because they're already after that GBA market. I was like, that's some shoes to fill. You're going to have to give me a handheld that's lightweight, ergonomic, and fits all the needs or matches up to a GBA so close that I could hold it in my hands and game on it for more than 2, 3, 4 hours if I wanted to, and not feel any fatigue in the hands and feel like I'm holding the real one, because I could do that with a real one. And when they released these images, especially with these, and I went over this in my review, these buttons, the way they chopped them down and just got these little wings back here, I thought that was a stupid ass move. You know what? I was wrong. I like that. There are some problems. Sometimes I just hit the bare edge of them. But a little training with this and a little constant use, and you adjust, and then you're on it. You know what I mean? You use it the way it should be. And for Game Boy Advance games, obviously this is the way to go. I mean, this thing does them all the right way. And I can get on places like Etsy and order a custom Game Boy Advance, sticker for the back, and I like the color I went with because it does just a good enough job of hiding, X and Y, that I feel like at a glance, I'm looking at a regular GBA. I mean, I know these are here if I ever need them. This isn't the layout you want for shit like PlayStation. I'm happy there's no stick. I get that they didn't do a volume wheel, but they did this rocker, and that's perfectly fine. The speaker being right there is perfect. It sounds good. It works. I mean, honestly, if you're a big fan of GBA and you want the most budget-friendly way to play GBA, and there's cheaper options out there, absolutely. But if you want a good mix of quality, if you want that original, hardware-looking style, this is the way to go. Throw $60 at this. Pick your color. I suggest getting a color that hides the X and Y buttons decently well, like the red or this green. Maybe even the black. I don't know, I haven't really stared at the black too much. Normally, those are the colors I gravitate towards, but for some reason with this one, I didn't even care about looking at the black. I glanced at the indigo one, but they never really get that color right, and it's not... I guess it's the nostalgia and it's the color of those in that era. but not for me. I didn't care about that. That's just a GameCube color to me. That's all that is. Okay, when I see that color, it means GameCube. So, but for GBA, if you had one choice and you're looking at emulation and you're not going to go with original hardware like these, this is it. This is the way to go. The only negative I have after more use of this since my review is still this corner right there on this trigger for both of them. That shit is sharp. It will jab you in the fucking finger. When you slide your hand up, that stabs you right there. So take a little piece of sandpaper, which I haven't done. Smooth that out if you have to. I'm not going to because I'm lazy and I'll just deal with it. And it could cut me wide open and I wouldn't really feel it with my hands. But this is your best budget, you know, price for quality, for performance, for power. Anbernic killed it with this one and it beats out the rest. Okay. Honestly, if I had to pick between this and an original GBA SP, or not SP, but GBA, it would be a tough choice. Okay. I do get easy game options with this. I can pick whatever I want to play with it. If I put a flash cart in the GBA, I can do the same. But because I could just rapidly change what I'm playing on it and jump to like Super Nintendo, because I really like Super Nintendo on this screen, guys. I really like Super Nintendo on this layout. It is great. This is my GBA and Super Nintendo handheld. I would probably go with this still. So there's my recommendation. If you're looking at a really good GBA experience and you're not sure what to spend or what to get, because there is so many options out there. There's a ton. Hopefully you were deciding among this stuff. I doubt you were in this ballpark, but you were probably here because the SP is that last one in that lineup. So for a lot of people, when they think GBA, they think this. They think the SP. Honestly, between these two, if I had to pick one, if one was going to be smashed with a hammer to little bits, and I got to keep one, this one's getting smashed. I like it. It's worth the price. These are awesome. It's a great design. Anbernic killed it with the SP design. But this is just so much better. For Game Boy, Game Boy Advanced, Game Boy Color, and Super Nintendo, this is the handheld. Okay. Alright guys, so tomorrow we're going to do the Retroid Pocket Classic video because it should be out for delivery, but because I'm saying that, there is a huge chance it'll be delayed because it's been storming like a son of a bitch here in Oklahoma for the last century. Yeah. And, okay, so right here, if you're just here to watch the handheld stuff, leave now, because now I'm just getting into Legion business. Alright, you were warned, moving on. So I'm just going to gloss over. You guys know how I like to kind of talk about certain comments I get. So recently I got one mentioning my language, and I jokingly said it's English, but I know what they meant. Okay? When I upload these videos, I intentionally hit not for children. Okay? I target adult audience with this, which if I didn't do that, my channel probably would have grown a lot faster and would grow faster because I could, you know, everybody could watch it. But the life I've lived, how I was raised, all that, I'm a little crude. Okay? The things I say, I grew up, and I honestly believe this, I hate the fact that we decided that certain words were deemed not socially acceptable. You could talk about sex, but you can't talk about fucking. And that bugs me. That just that word is unacceptable. I don't believe in that. Okay? You're not going to tell me that this form of this word is fine and this form of this word is unacceptable. I'm not okay with this. You're not going to... no. Okay? I don't care. I'll say whatever the hell I want to say. Okay? If my language is offensive to you, you are in the wrong place. Okay? If it hurt your poor little feelings, go somewhere else. Find you a nice pink fluffy channel where they're very concerned about your feelings and how and everything like that, because this ain't the place. Okay, this is the fucking Legion. All right, this is what I do. So walk off. I'm sorry that you found the wrong channel. Okay, you stumbled upon here and you heard a man speak. I apologize. Get out. Okay, that's not even a sincere apology. I don't care. Thanks for the view. Walk off. All right. Anyway, so that's all I wanted to cover there. And you guys have heard me say this time and time again. This isn't a gimmick. This is who I am. Okay, I will watch this channel burn before I change who I am. Let's go back to no subscribers, no views, and I will still be putting out content because I do it because I want to. Anyway. All right, Legion, much love. Hopefully, Retro Pocket Classic tomorrow. That'll be a great video to put out. I'm going to do my best to get home, get it, use the shit out of it, and form an opinion as fast as I can in one night, and then do the video. Okay? And eventually, I might go over some handhelds and do an update on my reviews. But I pretty quickly start forming my opinion. Okay? So, we'll see you for that tomorrow, as always. Hit it up in the comments. And vegan, I have not quite jumped on D4 yet. I turned it on last night, looked at it, and stopped because I got busy. So if I do throw down, I'll hit you up. So, all right, everybody. See you in the next episode.